Welcome to the First and Goal podcast. You have now entered the set with Coach Blocker, the #1 source for player development, both on and off the field.
Tap in live with us on Saturdays as we speak with coaches, players, and professionals who support the development of social and emotional life skills for athletes.
Your body, that's easy. We train your mind.
This Saturday as we go live with Coach Vincent Jefferies of University of Illinois. Coach Jefferies is an offensive assistant, and we're going to be talking about how to get on that recruiting board. Our second guest on the show is owner, coach, and mentor of the Fighting Cancer Boyz 7-on-7 program, Coach Santana. So lock in with us, Coach Jefferies, Coach Santana, this Saturday, live at 8 p.m. for the First and Goal 365 podcast. You don't want to miss. And remember, as always, don't compare, compete. What's up, everybody? This is Coach Block for the First and Goal 365 podcast. As you can see, I do not have the luxurious set that you had seen for the first two episodes because your boy has been under the weather. So I am at the crib and the best place where all the top coaches coach, the recliner. So we're going to do this from the reclining chair today, but it's still not going to change the show because I have all of our guests virtually, and you don't want to miss who we got going on this show. We got some powerful people in the world of 7-on-7 and coaching and mentoring. And then also we got the Division I P5 coach in the building. So you're going to want to ask your questions. Don't even worry. We're probably going to address every question that you have, but don't hesitate to drop any type of comment that you want to have inside of the comment section. When you hit that comment section, I'll be able to see. You can ask, I can share it on the screen, and then boom, you're good to go. So take advantage of this. It's not too often when you have the ability to ask a P5 coach questions, all right? So, but first, before we get into that, this is Block Spot and my unpopular opinion, and y'all know who I've been talking about a lot. That's my man and yours, Coach Prime. So what is the new antic that Coach Prime has done now? Coach Prime tells his band that they need to play more HBCU type vibe music for him. If you haven't heard the interview or seen the conversation, let me let you just see what Coach Prime was talking about. Check this out.
At HBCUs is kind of traditional that the band kind of coincides. At HBCUs is kind of traditional that the band kind of coincides. I know it's a different, but it don't have to be. We like one big happy family. So we go as you guys go. There's certain things we like, certain things we don't like. And I want to just get on the same page. And we're probably going to have a new theme song that I want you guys to get, and it's not hard. And I think you can knock it out of the park. I don't know if you know it, but when I say pregame speech, give me my theme music, and then the music clicks on, because we always have a DJ in the locker room, and here we go. But it'll be even taking it to a whole nother level when the band is able to execute it. And that's going to be really, really good, really good.
You mean coming out of the tunnel to that?
Well, you got to do your thing.
Yeah. Yes.
But pregame, we're coming out with that. And we make plays or whatever, and we take the lead, which we're going to do. We want to.
Just thinking like a turnover situation kind of thing. We want to hit that, yeah.
We want that to be our heartbeat.
Yeah.
So when they hear that, they know we coming.
Easy.
They know we just did something, we coming, ESPN, the other outlets going to pick it up.
So we do a Ralphie intro video every year that they change. Do you want us to have that be the music so that we can run out to that too?
Oh, I would love it. At HBCU.
So Prime's talking crazy. All right, let's just get into this real quick. He is telling Colorado that they need to get his music right so that they can do what they do. But when he says hit his theme music, he wants his specific music played by the band. Ouch. The only thing I would have to say to that is, here's my unpopular opinion. I don't disagree with him. As long as the band has done what they have traditionally done before, if Prime asked to do something or have something played that, hey, he likes or that is something that he wants to hear, I don't see a problem with it. LSU plays the swag and surf jam like that. They own it, right? When you go to LSU, they want to, swag and surf like it's their song. So if Prime has something that he likes and it's going to get the kids hype and it's going to get the fans hype, hey man, play it. At Enlow, I did it. I talked to I talked to the band director, and we accidentally made a whole little thing where we came in with the band. Never been done before. We walked in the stadium with the band, behind the stadium, down the stairs. It was crazy. So if this is what's going to get people to be entertained, y'all got to remember, prime time is about entertainment. You know why? Because he made that meeting public. Nobody even needs to know that that meeting is there. So for the bottom line that I keep giving you guys, prime time's about entertainment. So stop taking him so seriously. All this is to help sell tickets. 30,000 for a spring game is crazy. So with that being said, my unpopular opinion is leave Prime alone. Let him do what he do. He's all about entertainment. Remember, this is the dude that had a whole bunch of gold chains and a Jerry curl the day he got drafted. So with that being said, I got somebody that I want to introduce, and I want you guys to understand that with this man, he and I probably have crossed paths way before I even met him, just because he is a 7-on-7 guy. In this area, he is the guy for 7-on-7. And when I was a coach at Enlow High School, I got to admit, I wasn't a big 7-on-7 guy. I wasn't a big 7-on-7 guy ever. Even the guys in Pittsburgh who know me know that I'm not a big 7-on-7 guy. And there's a reason why, and I'll go into that reason when we talk. But in all fairness, as time has progressed and I change as a coach and evolve as a coach, I learned and realized that there are multiple avenues and multiple areas that you got to be flexible on when you're talking about reaching the kids. One thing that I cannot take away from this brother is he is a huge, huge mentor for the community and for the kids, and not just high school kids. He starts with them young, all the way down to like 12, 13 years old. So uh, I had to change my ways and change my thinking. And the blessing was I got a chance to be able to actually talk to the brother and become a friend. So with that being said, I want to introduce you guys to Coach Santana, owner of FC Boyz, which stands for Fighting Cancer Boyz. How you doing, Coach Santana?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Oh man, I can't complain. I can't complain, brother. Thanks for being on the show. It's a long time coming. We should have been
Right.
did this a long time ago, but it's it's here now. But I want to thank you for taking the time, because I know you guys are busy. Yeah, let's jump right into some questions and all that stuff, man. So
Yes.
tell us about FC Boyz, and why did you choose the name Fighting Cancer Boyz?
So the name Fighting Cancer was really handed down to me by some of my flag football friends that I play with. Daryl Doucette, his name is Hoosh. Rob Myers, some of my guys that's down in Louisiana. They started the trend fighting cancer. Just awesome tragedies that happened in their life, and some of their family members dying from cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So what they did was they designed a platform through sports to bring awareness to cancer. So I feel like it would have been it. I feel like it was a great idea
Mm-hmm.
to bring it to 7-on-7 and also let the younger guys play for something different. So
Okay.
we actually have some guys on the team. Their family members is actually diagnosed with cancer. Some family members have actually died from cancer. So whenever they do play, they're playing for something a little bit bigger than just football. They're actually playing to spread the awareness of cancer and just to get it out there that, hey, you got some people that's actually fighting for you guys also.
Cool. Now, with that being said, you kind of led me into my next question. And we see so many 7-on-7 programs, right? And you've been in the game. You one of the first guys in this area that I know you've been competing with, the Bobs of the world and all that. So in this area, you've been the guy. But what makes FC Boyz more than just 7-on-7?
I think it's more than just 7-on-7 for us, just simply because of what we're playing for.
Okay.
It's not necessarily just football for us. It's not necessarily just going out there, sharpening your skills and heighten your IQ to get ready for tackle. Like, yes, that's all good, and that's pretty much the reason why we're playing it. But for the bigger reason we're playing it is really just for cancer.
Gotcha.
We're really just trying to get that name out there, just spread the awareness, and just let everyone else know, like, hey, we're fighting for you, but we're gonna fight for you a different way. We're gonna fight for you through sports.
Okay. Okay. So with that being said, man, I do have your mission statement here and some of the other things that you can find on Coach Santana's social media. But one of the things that I did want to put up was his mission statement, which is Fighting Cancer 707 was created to help spread awareness and inspire hope in the fight of all cancers throughout. I mean, I'm sorry, through our young warriors playing sports while using various social media platforms. Through sports and the reach of social media, our young men playing 7-on-7 spreading the message of fighting cancer and contributing to the research, health, and well-being of those affected by cancer. So, with that being said, man, have you personally experienced anybody with cancer or with the death of cancer yourself?
I have some real close friends. They have some tragedies in their family. So, I mean, that kind of hit hard for me too. Because once I call you my friend, you're my friend. So if he's family, I'm family. So if someone from their family passes away from cancer, it hits me the same exact way too. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've actually had a couple of close friends. Their parents have passed away from cancer.
Okay.
I know that your mom also
Yes, sir.
just passed also. And what we did for her was our new uniforms, we're dedicating those to her, and we got her name going to be on our sleeves from here
That's
on out,
sweet.
on all of our uniforms. So we're going to dedicate from here on out, every season that we play, every time we touch the field is going to be for your mom.
Hey, man, I appreciate that, man. That's huge. That's something that I can't even thank you enough for, man, because
No problem, brother.
she loved football herself, and with her, she always wanted to see young men doing something positive, which, that's what FC Boys is about, man. So I thank you on that.
No problem.
Now, you had mentioned something in there, and so here's me playing devil's advocate. All right, so I got to go into the other side, which you're a part of the other side too, because you were a DB coach at Middle Creek,
Yes.
and so you know both sides. So let's talk about how 7-on-7 can actually coincide with tackle 11-on-11. Let's just talk about how those two can work in harmony, because there's a lot of us versus them type of mentality. So
I think
in your
conversation more than anything.
so
But
let's talk about how they can work in harmony.
me personally, and this is just my opinion. My opinion, I think it takes out the physical part of the game and it adds straight mental part. And I think it heightens your IQ and it actually sharpens your skills. Like for receivers, you got to know how to run routes. You got to know how to break down defense. You got to know how to recognize them. You got to get a pre-snap read. All those little things. The little things is what's really going to count, what's going to get you far in tackle football. So I think 7-on-7 is really a cheat sheet for skill players. For me, I think it is, because you get the timing with your receivers. If your quarterback and your receivers are playing on the same exact team, you get timing. And if you're a DB, you actually get to break down coverages without your lineman being there. So let's just say you go to a tournament, you get 4 seconds. Realistically, in tackle football, you will never get 4 seconds for a quarterback to throw a football unless he has
ever. Yeah.
So now that's teaching them to cover longer, and actually it's teaching them how to communicate with each other to be in certain places so everything can be accounted for.
Got you. Understandable. And the years that I have said I hated it. I hate 7-on-7. I hate 7-on-7. I think it's time for me to actually tell why I felt that way. And the major reason why was because we were at a 7-on-7 at the University of Michigan when I was coaching football in Pittsburgh, and a young man who had damn near every college. He was one of the top athletes in the state. And he went up for a jump ball, came down wrong, and tore his knee to shreds. And it changed the trajectory of his recruiting and ultimately probably his life. Like, he panned out to, actually get an opportunity to go to D1. And surprisingly, he was supposed to sign to go to Illinois, which the reference to that is we got a coach from Illinois a little later on. But when I seen that, from that point on, I was just like, man, I hate 7-on-7. And really, that was the only reason, man. Like, I can't even lie to you. There was no other reason besides the fact that I seen it happen to a young man. And it shook me. It shook me.
Yeah.
And now being, like I said, older coach and realizing that we got to change some of our ways just because it connects with the young people in such a way that it gives you the ability to coach them in a different way than just that hardcore in the summertime 11 on 11. You get a different bond. Like right now, y'all bonding right now. You get a totally different bond than another coach may get. I get it, man. So for that, for all the 7-on-7 guys that I may have pissed off, I'm sorry. All right. Take Coach Block's apology, man. Take it.
I
Take
get
it
it.
for what it was.
I totally understand, but that's just like saying whenever say you got a 5-star basketball player and he goes and he plays in the AAU tournament.
Yeah.
I think it plays hand in hand. I think it's the same exact thing. That's just like say DJ, this young man right here behind me. Let's just say that he's a 5-star wide receiver, and let's just say he wants to go into a tournament one weekend and get some extra work before he get ready to leave. And heaven forbid, boom. I think it plays the same way. But I think the parent and the kid should also understand what they're getting themselves into whenever they play these type of travel sports, whenever it's like real high intensity and stuff like that. Like things can happen, but at the same time, it's like that's just a risk that you're willing to take.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's all a risk. Everything's a risk, even when you're playing another sport. So like when you're a dual sport athlete, and let's say football is your primary sport, but you also run track, you still stand the chance of getting an injury that may prevent you from playing the first part of your season. So it's all a risk. The best thing to do is just make sure you're in condition enough to handle whatever that experience is going to be it 7-on-7, be it track, be it whatever else is going on at this time, hoops, all that stuff. Just make sure your body is ready to endure it. So now, before we go into our next question, which is how can we support the FC boys, tell us about the two young men that you do have with you.
So these young men that I have behind me, I'll let them introduce themselves.
Kendrick Blanton,
DJ Newborn.
These two.
So I heard DJ, but I didn't hear the last name.
Newborn, like a baby.
Gotcha. Okay.
So these two young men, I'll probably say Kendrick has been around me for a long period of time. Me and his dad went to high school together. So he's definitely like family. And DJ, I literally just met DJ this year, but DJ is really like a little brother to me. When we travel and we do these 7-on-7 things, I try to bond with them as much as possible to try to give them someone else that they can come and talk to, because I know how hard it is to come and talk to your parents about certain situations. Right. So the bond that we do have whenever we come out and we do this type of stuff is really, really, really important to me. But these young men have done well over enough than anything that I could ask for them. DJ is a freshman. Kendrick is getting ready to be a junior. And just watching them play, you would never think that they were that age. You will really think that they have been on varsity there all 4 years and they're getting ready to be seniors.
Yeah.
But when they talk and you hear them say that, yeah, I'm just a junior, I'm just a freshman, it's like it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. And what high schools again?
Roseville.
Okay, so we can look out for you. So you guys are stepping in some pretty big shoes out there in Roseville.
Yes.
It's a lot of D1-ish guys out there in Roseville.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So let me ask you guys this. I like to ask all high school players, give me your top 3 schools that these are the dream. These are what, when I go to sleep, this is what I dream about. I dream about these schools.
Georgia, Oregon, the Florida Gators.
Okay. Go ahead, Newborn.
Like
Newborn, all right.
Yes, sir. Georgia,
Mm-hmm.
University of Southern California.
Okay.
Texas.
Texas. Okay. So that's what's up. Now, here's what's a good thing to know when you're affiliated with good people, man. I'm gonna make sure with Coach, have you guys already filled out the questionnaires and everything for the schools? Have you already filled that information out?
Yes, sir.
Anyone that you don't have that you want? Santana, where'd you go? Where'd you go? Don't go black on me.
Right here.
Is there any schools that you got that you're thinking of that you haven't filled out your questionnaires and information for yet? And it's okay to say no, because if you haven't, that's what we're here for with the First and Goal, man. We can help you. So you make sure you let Coach Santana know if there are schools that you're interested in, and you're like, yo, Coach, we just need the questionnaire so we can get into the database. Let me know so that we can go ahead and supply those for you. All right.
Yes, sir.
So one thing, I got a video to show before we talk about the sponsorship package, because we do want to put your information out there to make sure people know how they can help you. But if you want to see these kids have fun, I need y'all to check out this video, because this is literally what these kids do, and this is another light that he shines as far as just exposure and giving these kids an opportunity to do what? Be kids, man. Check it out.
Let's watch some crazy stuff, yo.
Ricky Morty. Rick. Yo, Ricky Morty.
Hey, wait a minute, Rick.
Ricky Morty.
I thought this was a commercial. What's going on? I mean, don't worry about it. Let's just see where this goes. Oh my God! It's still the commercial.
Why y'all been on TikTok? I've been on Big Pac, Big Glock, it's Alfred Hitchcock. Get your kid rock, silk shocking, the like P brother, tree lover. Fell in love with her, my just told me she love her. We running, been running this shit. I can't feel my legs. Your brother got them birds, how my come and steal his eggs. I be on the million mids, I could put your doctor on. The wheels fall off, no hubcap, all this mud in my cup, and I don't need no mud flaps. I don't need no hug dap, I don't need no rug rat, so she gon' have to chug that. I'm like Tom Brady, still ballin', where the Bucks at? Young money, young man, YM.
Rick, oh my God.
Shout out to my man 80 Graphics, because I still don't know how he does that. Now, y'all know me and 80 go back and forth on these graphics and these and all the stuff that you see. I still don't know how he did that one. I'm trying to figure it out. But shout out to 80 Graphics. And like I said, if you guys want to just see these guys have an opportunity to just continue to have fun, continue to show their talents and be exposed to other things, you have to get outside of your little area. Like, guys that are in, like, for example, Raleigh, or when I was in Pittsburgh, it's a necessity to see more and to be exposed to more. And to do that costs some money. So Coach Santana, I'm gonna put up the sponsorship package, and you just tell us a little bit about that. Here it goes right here. So tell us a little bit about that.
So pretty much the packages are pretty much self-explanatory. So the higher you go, pretty much it's just like the more merchandise you get, the more stuff that you get whenever you come and you just come visit us at some of our tournaments. Just like our platinum package, we will literally get you a jersey with your name on it or your company name on it. We will frame it. We will take a picture with you with all the kids, so we can post it on all social medias and all social media platforms. Logo, banners. Whenever we go to tournaments, we take a picture with your banner. We post it on all social medias and all the other good stuff. Sideline access passes. If you let's just say that you come here to Charlotte and you want to be on the sideline with the boys, you get a sideline access pass. And also, whenever we have a banquet at the end of the year, represent you with a thank you plaque, saying thank you for supporting us, and pretty much just letting you guys know that we appreciate you.
Cool. Hey, Coach, I appreciate you being on. Don't go anywhere. We do got to get our next guest on, but don't go anywhere, because I want to get those young men behind you their information, and so I can get them some other stuff in reference to recruiting and all that. All right, so don't go anywhere. All right.
Yes, sir.
My man. So with that being said, I also got another guest. If you watch the video, this gentleman here, we have been working together since Shaw University. Then he transferred from Shaw University, then went to FAMU. From FAMU, this guy then went and started training, and then we picked up together after that. And he worked my camp and trained. The next thing you know, this guy is a college coach, and I ain't talking about just any old college coach. I'm talking about P5 college coach. He showed up at NC State, and he put it on social media. I'm here. The next thing you know, he did his job at social media. He did his job at NC State, and he done moved on to Illinois. So we got to talk to this man, because he's making power moves and he's doing things, and we need to know what he's doing. So with that being said, we have Coach Vincent Jefferies from the University of Illinois. What's going on, man? I can't hear. Let me see. Did you mute yourself? Yeah, you muted yourself.
Yeah, I probably did.
There you
My
go.
fiance probably laughing at me right now. But yeah, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, man, I'm good, man. I'm good. It's always good to see you, man. Good to see you
No
still
doubt, no
progressing and
doubt.
doing your thing, man. I love it. I love everything I
Right,
see, brother.
right on, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, man. You when you reached out to me, I know we had a small stint before. We actually I think it was maybe the season right before I went to NC State, we did a podcast special
Yep.
together. And man, when you reached out to me about the second opportunity, I jumped on it. I
Hey,
said,
man.
yeah, man, no doubt. I got to give out with my guy, Coach Block.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. So before we get into the questions, y'all know I got sponsors and all that. And one of the things that some people don't know, and if you don't know, now you know, my sister and I also have a radio station. It's called TDS Radio. So for this month, this is going to be Women's History Month, the month of March. She will be doing some interviews of some great women, and our series is called Win, Women Impacting Now. But I'm gonna let her tell you guys about the series that we got coming up. So this is our first down, TDS Radio, and this is my sister Kim.
Hey guys, it's your girl SoFab, co-owner of TDS Radio, and I'm super excited for this announcement for the month of March. As we all know, it's Women's History Month, and we are kicking off WIN, Women Impacting Now, where we are going to be interviewing several different women from all different walks of life, from tech, startups, cosmetics, anything and everything under the sun. We're going to bring these ladies in to talk about how they're impacting our community for the better and all the awesome things that they are doing for the month of March. So please make sure you guys tune in. Make sure you're following us, TDS Radio, on Instagram, Facebook. These interviews are happening every Tuesday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Please, please, please make sure you guys tune in and hope you guys enjoy. And don't forget, it's TDS Radio, our voice, our culture.
So that's my little sis. As you guys know, if you don't know, that is her. Her name is SoFab Kim. She got me into the radio world. I am not a radio guy, but she is. She used to work for iHeartMedia. And she had her own show here at Choice Radio, and she wanted to start her own thing. So brother and sister team. So please support that. I'll make sure inside of the comment section I drop our link so that you can check out the radio shows. Hold on one second. Yep. I'll make sure here it comes right now. Bang, bang, and bang. There we go. So you can go check out TDS Radio at any given time. And it's a live, fully licensed radio station. Music's running 24/7. My sister and I have our show between 5 and 9. So, Coach Jefferies, let's get into some conversation, man. It feels good to call you Coach Jefferies.
Right on.
So you've been in 2 different programs, man. So just tell us the road and the pathway since last time we seen you. You went to NC State. You were training, but you went to NC State, and then you transitioned to Illinois, man. Just tell us the pathway of NC State to Illinois.
Right. So before I was at Illinois, I was at Garner High School. I was there. I went back to my, I guess to say alma mater. Coached there with under Coach Leach for 7 games, and that was a great experience. And that's really where I fell in love with coaching. Mm-hmm. And then, I had an opportunity to go on to NC State where I was, kind of in a student assistant role. I was, going to grad school and coaching at the same time. And I was there, throughout that fall season, but I was really looking to take the next step. I understood, this is what I want to do. This is what I feel like I excel at. This is what I feel like my calling is. Mm-hmm. So I just continued to seek it out. And it's, it's crazy kind of how it all happened and how, this plan and God's plan for me kind of came to fruition. Yeah. The position ended up opening up at NC State where I thought I would be. And the Lord presented a better opportunity for me to be able to come to Illinois. Yeah. And this has really been a great step for me, just learning, how to live really on my own while balancing coaching and, kind of set the foundation for my coaching career, man. But it's been a great experience. It's been a crazy experience. It's up and down, obviously wins and losses throughout the season, long days, long nights and early mornings, but it's a grind, you know it as a coach.
Oh yeah.
So man, I love it. I'm enjoying it. I'm doing well, man. And, anticipating this spring break coming up so I can get a little bit of time to relax before we hit it hard for spring ball.
Good. So you're actually taking me into my next set of questions, which is great. And that is, man, you've since being with 2 different programs, 2 different D1 programs, Power 5 programs. Let the kids out there know, is there any type of similarities? Is it totally different? So, as a player, you have the knowledge as a player, and then you have the knowledge as a coach.
Right.
Share with these these players and parents, because you went to 2 different universities,
Right.
and then you've coached at 2 different universities. With
Right.
all that gumbo that you got there, just talk about how it just differentiates.
Just the main thing is understanding, understand the work that you put in and where you're setting yourself up to go. So me coming out, when I look back at it now, just from a coaching perspective now, looking at myself and evaluating myself as a high school athlete is quite humbling. Actually, as a high school athlete, I'm thinking, oh man, I want to go here. I'm going to Alabama or Miami. And being on this side of it now and looking back and saying, okay, I had those dreams and those aspirations, but did my work ethic match it?
Yeah.
Did my grades match it?
Right.
Did my focus match that level of play? And to look back and look back at it now, and like I said, it's very humbling, but it's kind of it's a different standard, especially in Power 5 football, where it's there's a lot of money involved. Coaches are being paid a lot of money, and we're being paid a lot of money to win football games.
Yeah.
So when you look at it from that perspective, and we talk about it and we hear songs about it, people saying it's levels to it, but it truly is. There's different levels, to the onion. So I think that's the main thing I can look back and say, okay, it's great to have those aspirations. It's great to dream and say, I want to play at the University of Illinois, or I want to play at USC or Texas or NC State or UNC. But, I think the main thing that we as athletes, and formerly myself as an athlete, have to understand is does my work ethic match it? Does my focus for the game match it? And then am I making the right decisions to put me in that position to be recruited by those teams? Am I handling my business so that I can?
Don't go too deep. Don't go too deep. That's the next question. That's the next question. Now, what you're saying though, what I would like for us to dive into, which will segue into our next question, is with the programs that you've been in. You've been in 2 P5 programs.
Right.
A lot of people think, especially players, think that it's just a cookie cutting system where it's all the same. It's all football. Talk without being specific, like saying, okay, well, Illinois does this and NC State does that. Just talk about in general the difference between even just being in 2 different states and how the mindset has to be different based on being here and being there.
Right. I would say in terms of mindset, like I said, just everything that I really just said, and I don't want to regurgitate the same thing over and over again, but essentially that's what it is. But, just some of the things that, I've noticed. So under my head coach right now, Brett Bielema, former NFL guy. So, our structure is very NFL structured, NFL program. And I was fortunate enough, like I said, to be at NC State where Dave Doran's under, Dave Doran was the defensive coordinator for Brett Bielema at Wisconsin. So he comes from the same tree. So it's a lot of the same similarities. But if we're, like you said, in terms of a cookie cut program, every program is different. Every head coach is different. Every head coach runs their program different. You have the coach primes who are prime recruiters. He sells himself. He's that aura. He's that personality. And, he embodies everything that he wants to attract. And then you have coaches who are a bit more business-like, but then you have that perfect mesh. And I think most of the time, guys who are able to balance both sides of that, kind of be that player's coach, but also understand that they are running this Power 5 football program. Those are the programs that are really special. So, just in terms of what's like the complete or, the token university, I don't necessarily think it is one. I think you have to find out and figure out, recruiting, like, I don't want to go too far into it, but recruiting is a two-way street. What attracts you to a school? What do you find attractive in a school? Is it the business school? Are you going to play at the next level? Or are you going for a good foundation, a good education to be able to just play college football? So I think you have to align, your vision for yourself. You have to plan it out and see, okay, this is what I want to do. And then what school presents the best opportunity? Do I want to play Power 5 football and play wide receiver to go to the NFL? Okay. These are my top choice. That's my top choices for, that route. So I think, just understanding where you want to go, what your projection is for yourself, and then attacking it from there, seeing who else lines up with that, and then how do I get there?
Bet. Now, so what you're saying that's going to take us into our next question.
Right.
But let's go with second down real quick. Let me get to our sponsor, which is Lids, because y'all know I keep a cap on. But let me go ahead and run our second sponsor, which is our second down with Lids.
Peel back time. Open your eyes to history. My dad gave me game. My dad is why I fell in love with the game of basketball. He used to be in 2 men's leagues. Took me and my brother with him all the time. One league, his team was called the CJ Jocks. The other league, his team was called the Chris Crushers. One league, he wore number 6 for Dr. J. Other league, he wore number 44 for Iceman. Like my pops was definitely the person who gave me game. Even nowadays, like with technology and with the growth of games and the way things change, you tend to forget the people who paved the way before you. If not for these leagues, people that look like me wouldn't have been able to play at all.
So anybody who's interested in lids and hats, any of that good stuff, holla at your boy, because I have access, because they are a partner with First and Goal 365 podcast. So for those who are interested, holla at me. I can make sure you get whatever you need. And even the hats that are not necessarily inside of the store lids, when you go in there and look, holla at me. I got a whole catalog where I can get you right. So let's jump inside of the next question, which is taking us, we were going there. We was tap dancing on it. So here's what the parents want to know. Here's what the players want to know. That recruiting board. Now, you've been in 2 different schools, and you've been in the recruiting room. And I'm not going to ask for your coaches. I don't want their specifics. But how do you get on this recruiting board, brother? If you are a guy, let's speak realistically for the kids and for the parents, because a lot of them get false information. So when we're talking about even just specifically Illinois, what do I have to do to stand out to get on that board when you guys are in that room and trying to decide who you want to go with?
Right. So first things first, are you doing your part in the recruitment process? Are you recruiting us as heavy as we're recruiting you? So, a lot of the times I think kids get a false perception or, false understanding that recruiting just happens if you're a guy, and there are those guys, but, if we're being honest, everybody's not a national guy.
Right.
That's just the root of it. But, if you're interested in Illinois, you have to show Illinois, you have to show Illinois that you're interested in them. You get what I'm saying? And that's more so that's not just following them on Twitter or shooting them a DM. Hey, coach, my name is so-and-so. I'm 6 foot, blah, 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 class of whatever. Here's my highlight tape. Love for you to take it. We get thousands of those Twitter messages a day. Thousands of emails.
Could you do me a favor, man? Repeat that one more time for the people in the back that didn't hear you, man.
Yeah, man. So, just DMing coaches, you guys are shooting us your texts and, what, and, kind of to say it again without repeating myself the same way, but what are you doing different that you stand out? Because like I said, we get 1,000 messages on Twitter a day. We get tens of thousands of emails. We have to refine those down and find, the diamond in the rough. We have recruiting for that. That's what recruiting does. Yeah. They're in charge of that. But, we get thousands of those emails saying, hey, coach, this is who I am. Love for you to take a look at my film. Go Illini. What are you doing that sets yourself apart, though?
Right.
And,
right.
It's funny, but in the reality of it, like I say, and I look at it from this perspective as well, is I was once that athlete sending those emails and sending those Twitters, those Twitter direct messages and things. So I understand that, but it's more than recruiting. Like I said, recruiting is a 2-way street. It's a relationship building process. So what are you doing to, to extend your hand to us to let us know that you're interested in coming to Illinois? Yeah. Then we can take it serious and really start recruiting you, actively looking into, how was this kid in the weight room? How was he in the classroom? What's the GPA? How does he interact with his teachers, his classmates, his teammates? And then is he making the effort to come to Illinois? Are you able, are you willing to come out here on your own dime to show us that you're interested so that we can take a look at you?
So For you specifically, because I as I've tried to tell people time and time again, um, you as a assistant coach have to have your I'm gonna say it straight up, you have to have your shit together before you can even bring a name up in the room.
No doubt.
So for a guy who's coming at you and saying, "Well, coach is recruiting me, blah blah blah," what is your checklist before you say, I'm not even presenting you unless you have boom, 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 boom." What does that checklist look like
Right.
for you?
To keep it raw, film. What's your film look like? What
Mhm,
do you look like? From a perspective of what we're looking for here in our wide receiver room,
mhm,
how does your body and how does your measurable stack up with what we're looking for?
mhm,
Okay. Do you pass the eye test? How does the film look? Then we're looking to the GPA. Then we
mhm,
want to see, okay, who's around there? What other guys have came from there? Who's the high school coach? How was the high school coach talk about them? But the
mhm.
first thing we want to see film. Like
Yeah,
everybody can talk up, hey coach, I got a 6'4", 195-pound senior coming out this year. He doesn't really have any offers yet. Okay, send me the film.
right,
We want to see the film.
right.
So most of the time, like I said, the film speaks for itself, and we're not necessarily looking for, 7-on-7 film. That's good. We want Friday night film, game time film, and we want to see. Most of the time we'll get the highlight film, and then we'll look and we'll watch you throughout the course of a game,
Right.
and then throughout the course of the game, and this is just a small nugget, throughout the course of the game, how they're streaming it on Huddle. Even if you're not up, we're getting the full game copy.
Yeah.
So how are you interacting on the sideline when you're not in the game? We're looking
Yeah.
for you on it. We're watching the defensive. You're an offensive player. We're watching the defensive film just to see where you are on the sideline. Are you engaged? Are you with the other players? Are you sitting off on the bench by yourself? Because most of the time, like I said, once we watch the film, we get eyes on you in person. We know, okay, if this is a kid that we go after, we want to
Yeah.
see how you interact and how do you develop and sustain relationships with people outside of the football world.
And ideally, for GPA purposes now,
Right.
especially because now they've taken away the SAT, ACT.
Okay.
When you guys are looking at that GPA range, where is a target? Where would you like to see it at? You know what I mean? Like just saying, a kid is sitting at a 2 this, a 2 that. Where would you guys ideally like to see that GPA sitting?
Not in the twos at all.
Okay.
We want to see if we can see three and above, but
Mhm.
twos, then we have to, we're looking at it from a standpoint of what we sell here. Like I told you earlier, what we sell here sells itself.
Right.
So we have a top 15 academic institution in the world.
Right.
So if you're managing a 2.7, 2.6, 2.7 around, whatever high school it is, we're unsure if you're able to pull your weight in the classroom. Okay.
Right.
Because it's such a rigorous schedule, we need to make sure that we have guys that we don't have to understand it. We don't have to follow. We don't have to kind of babysit them in their academics to make sure, is Vincent going to class?
Yeah.
Is Vincent, is he taking care of his business in the classroom? Because when we get hands on you, it's football. We
Yeah.
don't want to have to deal with that,
Yeah.
that type of stuff. So we're looking for guys with 3.0 and above. Obviously, the higher the GPA, the more appealing.
Mhm.
But that's
Yeah.
not to say, a kid with a 2.6, 2.7 won't be able to get in somewhere.
Right.
But, the type of program that we're building and the type of program that a kid is looking to join, if it's an elite program, they're looking for elite kids.
Exactly.
Because just like there's a kid who's 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns with a 2.5, there's a kid with 1,400 yards, 35 touchdowns with a 3.6.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
what we're going to go get.
Exactly. So before we go into our next question with with tweaking and giving the checklist, what role, because this is something that I kind of still preach. I still want guys to take the SAT and the ACT
Right.
because as you just said, like for example, Illinois is a top 15 school academically.
Right.
Can you please let these guys know that they should still take the SAT and the ACT even if there's, athletes and not think that they should just brush it off?
Right. I think any opportunity for you to kind of get a measurable of where you're at is something that you should take advantage of. So when I was in high school, I remember us doing like a PSAT or
Mhm.
something in high school. And, just even an opportunity to kind of give yourself a baseline to see where you are
Right.
is an opportunity for you to kind of get an understanding. Okay, this is where I am. This is where I should be. And, this is what I need to be able to put myself in position to, one, be able to get into school or be able to compete to get into school if you have to take the walk-on route.
Right.
So any opportunity, like I said, to give yourself a measurable ACT, SAT, PSAT, anything like that for you to, like I said, get out there and kind of test the waters, see where you are academically and where your scores line up, is a good opportunity for you.
Bet. So now we're going to go into our third down, and that is going to be NFL Pro Shops. Once again, if anybody is a fan and you want some gear, holla at your boy. I can get you right. Here goes. Here, I got to get the commercial in, so check it out.
The champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here. Yeah, look good, feel good. Get the best out of me. All on the same page. Winner's mentality. So go and spread the news that we came for the chip. We ain't come here to lose. The champ is here.
The only thing wrong with that commercial, I love the fact that Jada's in it, but they ain't had no Steeler gear. So I need another commercial, and I'm going to find one that got Steeler gear in it because that was not okay. I won't say it's trash because I love NFL Pro Shop because they support First and Goal 365, but give me some Steeler stuff. All right, so my next question, and actually the last question that I have before just us chopping it up in reference to, I got a surprise question, but my question on the board that I told you about was transfer portal versus the high school recruiting. Because, right now, a lot of parents, a lot of people are freaking out because they see a lot of schools taking transfer guys. Now, statistically, what I did see doing my homework and trying to be a real reporter is Illinois only had 5 guys on the transfer come in, but then they had a full class of high school student athletes being recruited. So, if I'm looking at a school and I notice they only brought 5 guys in or 5 guys transferred in and not too many are leaving, I only think I seen 3 guys that were actually leaving, and then a full class of high school students, that lets me know that they're looking to develop high school guys. But I'll let you go into that, man, and explain some more. Oh, and if you want that information, go to rivals.com. It's all right there. But go ahead, go into that for me a little bit.
Right on. So, honestly, I think, the transfer portal is it's became a bit like free agency. But in terms of, I hear a lot of things about high school athletes and parents are, frustrated or, they don't really have a true understanding of how it works. But what I need everybody to first and foremost understand about the transfer portal is when the transfer portal opened this past season, there was, for at least about a 3-week period, there was at least 1,200 guys jumping in each day.
Woo!
Right. So not only are we having to evaluate those guys, and we're not evaluating all of them, only the, the guys that are appealing to us, but that transfer portal is full of people, and this is for kids who are now, who may be watching this, who are in college right now. There's no guarantees in that transfer portal. You can jump in that transfer portal, leave your scholarship, and not be able to find another one. So, there's pros and cons to it. But, in our program, we err on the side of developing. We have a developmental program, and, the amount of people that Coach B has put in the NFL, speaks on that. He's been able to develop talent from guys from like J.J. Watt to Russell Wilson, Chase Brown, and some of the guys who were, going to get drafted this year. But we develop high school talent.
Right.
So I don't think it's anything that parents should be worried about first and foremost, but it also depends on the program and what the program needs.
Gotcha.
Is the program at a loss for quarterback? Are they expecting somebody to be able to come in, play right away, or do they have time to be able to develop a high school quarterback to potentially take over the starting job in 2 to 3 years? So, like I said, I think it truly just. It truly depends on the program and who it is. Like I said earlier, there's no cookie cutter program. Every program is different. Every player personnel department is different. Recruiting is different in each different college program. And like I said, some guys need portal guys right away because they lost portal guys. And like you said, Illinois is, we're number 3 in the nation in the amount of guys leaving Illinois. So not a lot of people want to leave here right now. And that's because of the, the culture and everything that we're building here and what Coach B is selling and the job that we're doing. But I do think it is an opportunity for guys who aren't happy exactly where they are to be re-recruited. But like I said, at the same time, there's no guarantees if you jump in.
Right.
So that's for the college guys. Now for the high school kids, the main thing is just control what you can control. If you can play, if you're handling your business in the classroom, if you're putting out on tape that you can play, we're always looking for high school guys, because that's a kid we can give a scholarship to for 4 years. We can develop you over a span of 4 years and really reap the benefits of it, as opposed to dipping in the portal, grabbing somebody for instant offense to really get us through a season or provide depth to our roster.
Correct.
Okay? So, that's a little bit about the transfer portal versus high school recruiting. But, I don't think has it interfered? Yes. But to the extent that the public eye, who's not really in college football like that, it hasn't really interfered.
Right. And so when you're talking about like program compatibility, because the one thing I noticed when I looked at you guys, the guys that you pulled in for 2023, it was heavy defense. Can you talk about that, so that, because a lot of guys, and you remember how it was, a lot of guys feel slighted when their school is not necessarily recruiting them, and it's just because there may not be a need for that right now. So can you talk about that a little bit, where just like when you guys sit down, what's the first thing that you're addressing towards the team when you're looking for your 2020, right now it would be 2024s. So like, just kind of let them know how you guys go about that, addressing the need for the team versus friendships and I like the kid, But just talk about it. Yeah.
That last little piece you talked about, just friendships and relationships are huge in recruiting. Who does your coach know? Who is he able to get, kind of lobby for a kid in front of, and things of that nature. But just in terms of just how we go about attacking what our needs are is roster management. Okay, we look at our roster, we say, okay, we may have X amount of scholarships. All right, we have these X amount of seniors leaving out, so that affords us these amount of scholarships now that we can account for the next coming season. Okay, so once we do that, we figure out where our roster, lacks. Okay, do we have depth at line? Do we have depth at cornerback? Maybe we need to go and get 2 high school quarterbacks, because we have guys to fill us in for these next 2 years, but we need to make sure that we're continually developing guys, bringing guys in. So I think, like you said, it truly depends on where the roster is.
Yeah.
But my head coach, Coach B, does a great job of just roster. Like Coach B he's elite in terms of roster management. We have staff meetings for hours about how we're going to move pieces around and what we're looking for. So, like you said, it truly depends on what the need of that roster is. But at the same time, we're always open to, okay, there may not be a need, but we have a scholarship available. Let's go get this. You see what I'm saying? So, that's why I say, it's important for guys to not only just go out and look to be recruited, but do your part in recruiting. Do your research. Who has the need for wide receiver? Who has depth at cornerback on their roster? Okay, and attack it from that angle, as opposed to just, I'd like to go to Texas. Let me shoot Texas my stuff. Do your part in recruiting. Like I said, it's a two-way street.
And the one thing that I want to make sure everybody really takes in consideration is none of this is personal. Like everything that you hear Coach talking about is business oriented. And so just like you're going to a job interview, or just like you do a job search, some things may fit, some things may not. It's not personal. So don't get your feelings hurt or get discouraged if you stop hearing from a school, or if a school changes their mind and they want to go in a different direction. Just stay on your grind and make sure that you understand that it's not personal and there is a fit for you. You just got to keep on your personal grind, like Coach is saying, and meet the schools where they're at. Like, it's a two-way street. Don't just sit back like it's gym class and wait to get picked. That ain't, because you might not get picked. So hold on one second. We got one more on a 4th down, and then I got one last question that I did not add in, but I want to make sure I address before we get up out of here. But hold on one second. My last sponsor is Scotch Porter. As y'all know, I got the beard, keeps my beard soft. Hold on one second.
Oh, that's the DJ Zay. It's 5 in the morning. I wake up to 5 for my yard. Yeah, my mind is a warning. Pray to the one you're relying. I've been wandering
I don't know, dude. So don't think I do. I don't know who that guy is. That's just the commercial they gave me to use. So don't be like, man, who's dude? Nah, that's what I got. I might have to try to do my own or anything like that. I don't know. But my last question, and it's not necessarily on the board. This was just something that I was thinking about when we were talking, because none of this did we ever mention where kids go to camps as far as outside camps, not university camps, but outside camps, or if they go to all-star games and all that stuff, man. How much does that weigh in when you guys are sitting down talking? Like, have you ever been in a meeting? You've been in 2 universities. Have you ever been in a meeting and somebody said, hey, man, we got to go get this guy because of a camp or any of that stuff? Because I want parents to understand that camps are not bad.
Right.
But they're more so about experience and competition than going to camp thinking that you're always going to leave there with an offer. There should be no entitlement there, especially if it's not a on-campus camp. So can you talk about the difference?
Yeah, no doubt. I'm glad you asked that question, because these camps and all the camps that, the all-star games and all, that's all good stuff. It's all exposure, and all exposure is, I can't say all exposure is good exposure, but anything that's reputable is good. But your best chance of getting recruited by the school you want to get recruited by is going to that school's camp.
Yeah.
And from there, it's how do you perform? What are your numbers? How do you stack up? How do you look? How do you present yourself? It's a total process to it. It's not just I'm going to show up, work out, and I should leave with an offer if I run a 4.6.
Right.
So,
right.
Like I said, it's a complete process. You want to develop and build a relationship with that staff. Follow on Twitter, messages, show up to the school. Now, don't just show up to the school now. Don't just show up to Illinois and say, hey, Coach Jefferies said, just show
I'm
up
here.
to the school.
Yeah, I'm here.
Say, look here. That's not what I said. But I think it's important that when they have those open dates for you to come in and visit the school, or the junior day, or they're having the Illini camp or the Wolfpack camp or whatever the camp it is, that you go to that camp. And like I said, that goes back to the two-way street thing, and making sure you're putting yourself in a position to be seen and to be recruited by that school, and not just saying, oh, well, I ran a 4.6 at the rivals camp in Montgomery, Alabama. That's going to give me something.
Right.
Got to do that in front of those guys, in front of those coaches.
Exactly. And that's all I'm saying. So stop calling me a hater. I'm not a hater. I'm just trying to tell you guys that college coaches are not basing their jobs on guys that they have not laid eyes on themselves. Now, the likelihood of getting an opportunity if a coach happens to be at a outside camp is better, but 9 times out of 10, that coach is still going to try to get you on campus so they can lay eyes on you at their crib. Like, that's just how this works. So don't have the entitlement of, well, how many schools are going to be at this camp? That doesn't mean anything. Like, I promise you it doesn't. Look for the opportunity to compete. That helps you judge who's in your community, who's in your area, so that you can gauge what you're competing against. But when these college camps come up, and I post them on my Facebook all the time, when they come up, that's when it's time to go get busy. And still, don't go there with entitlement of I'm leaving with an offer. Of course, your mindset should be to compete, and if I get one, good. But don't have the entitlement of I should be getting an offer, because if you don't get one, now we got to do damage control emotionally because you set your hopes up for something and bang, it didn't happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I just wanted that wasn't a question I had, man, but I definitely wanted you to just bounce on that, because you've been at 2 different universities, and I'm sure you get guys that think that they should be or feel entitled to scholarships, but it's like, bro, we haven't even seen you on campus yet. You should try to get on campus as much as possible, even if it's just to take a tour of the school and see it during a normal school day, like a normal day where classes is flowing and all that. Take those tours, man, and then happen to bump into the athletic office and just introduce yourself, like, hey, how you doing? But you should always be involved with the institutions that you're interested in, just
Mhm.
as Coach has been saying. So with that being said, man, Coach, tell everybody how they can follow you, get information to you, all that good stuff, man. And don't bombard this man unless you're serious. But, just tell them how they can follow you and how we can continue to follow your progress.
Yeah, you guys can just follow me on Twitter. So my Twitter is Coach V Jefferies, and it's the same thing on Instagram. Like Coach said, don't be shooting me a film at 3 a.m. saying, "Hey, Coach, my name is so and so. I'm trying to play college ball. I love what Illinois brings. Tell me about 2 wide receivers from Illinois."
Yeah,
You know,
right.
so but like I said, follow me on Twitter. Reach out to me. I'm not somebody who's gonna see a message and not respond. But like I said, the main thing I want people to understand leaving from this is, like you said, don't go to camps with entitlement, but go to the camps with an open mind, looking to learn something, to compete and develop that relationship. Like I said, recruiting is about relationships. So understand that, and then grades.
Grades. So,
yes, sir.
Coach, don't go anywhere. Let me get my clothes on, and then we are going to talk as soon as this is over. So hold on 1 second.
Yes,
Hold
sir.
on. So I want to thank everybody for being a part and even coming out and watching and staying with us through this whole thing. And as always, we're going to keep it real short. Don't compare, compete. And if you want to support, I'll just drop this.
I take cash out, Venmo, Zelle, ep3. Ooh, yeah, Lord. Bring me my money. Oh.
Bring me the money. The Cash App is BIGG3131. If you want to support First and Goal, takes a lot to make this stuff happen. All right, man. Y'all have a good night and peace. See you next week. We got Shaw University next week. We got the staff, so it's going to be a big one. Like, we got Coach Jones, offensive coaches, defensive coaches. So stay tuned for that. All right, man. Peace.